5 people. You must cut off. A Stoic's warning to every man. Most men believe the greatest threat to their future is failure. They fear losing money, missing opportunities, or facing difficult circumstances. They spend years trying to prepare for problems they can see, while completely ignoring the danger that slowly changes them from within. Marcus Aurelius believed something far more dangerous. He understood that the people you allow closest to your mind shape your character long before life tests it. Every conversation leaves something behind. Every opinion you tolerate influences the way you think. Every relationship either strengthens your discipline or quietly weakens it. Character is contagious. So is fear. So is laziness. So is bitterness. You rarely notice it happening because change never arrives all at once. It happens one conversation at a time, one compromise at a time, one excuse at a time, until you wake up one day and realize you no longer think like the man you wanted to become. The Stoics never taught isolation. They understood that human beings are made for community. But they also believed that choosing your companions is one of the greatest responsibilities you have. If you constantly surround yourself with people who complain, avoid responsibility, or settle for mediocrity, you begin accepting those standards as normal. You stop questioning them because familiarity quietly becomes agreement. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of this every morning. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he prepares himself to meet people who are selfish, dishonest, arrogant, and difficult. He does not write those words because he expects to change them. He writes them because he refuses to let them change him. That single distinction separates emotionally strong men from everyone else. They understand that protecting their character is more important than winning arguments or pleasing everyone around them. Many men stay in unhealthy relationships because they confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice. They tolerate negativity because they fear being seen as cold. They remain surrounded by people who slowly destroy their peace because walking away feels uncomfortable. Yet the Stoics believed that protecting your inner world is not selfish. It is wisdom. Every person you repeatedly allow into your life leaves fingerprints on your mind. The question is whether those fingerprints are building your character or eroding it. Today, you'll discover the 5 types of people every man must have the courage to leave behind. Not because they are evil, not because you hate them, but because your future is too valuable to hand over to influences that quietly pull you away from the man you are capable of becoming. Person 1. The professional victim. There is one type of person who can quietly destroy your future without ever intending to. They don't do it through violence, manipulation, or betrayal. They do it through something much more subtle. They convince you that you are powerless. The professional victim never accepts responsibility for the life they have created. Every disappointment has someone else's name attached to it. The economy, their parents, their boss, their childhood, society, luck. There is always another explanation waiting to protect them from the uncomfortable truth that real change begins with personal responsibility. At first, their words sound reasonable. After all, life is unfair. People betray us. Opportunities are not equally distributed. The Stoics never denied that reality. Marcus Aurelius himself ruled an empire filled with war, betrayal, and uncertainty. Yet he never allowed external circumstances to become an excuse for abandoning his own character. The danger of spending time with a professional victim is not that they complain. Everyone complains from time to time. The danger is that their worldview slowly becomes yours. The more you hear that nothing is your fault, the less responsibility you begin taking for your own decisions. Without realizing it, you stop asking, "What can I do?" and start asking, "Who should I blame?" That single shift changes everything. Blame feels comforting because it removes pressure. Responsibility feels heavy because it demands action. One keeps you emotionally safe in the present. The other gives you the power to change your future. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that no matter what happened outside his control, his response always belonged to him. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he prepares for difficult people before the day begins because he understands they cannot damage his character unless he gives them permission. That is the Stoic mindset. You may not control the people around you, but you always control the standards you choose to live by. Pay attention to the conversations you have most often. Do they inspire action or justify inaction? Do they challenge you to grow, or do they provide endless reasons why growth is impossible? Every repeated excuse slowly becomes a belief, and every belief eventually becomes behavior. The strongest men are not those who have perfect lives. They are the ones who refuse to surrender their responsibility, even when life gives them every reason to do so. Remember this whenever you hear someone explain why nothing is ever their fault. Responsibility is where freedom begins. The moment you stop blaming the world is the moment you begin changing it. But blaming the world is only the first danger. There is another type of person who doesn't fill your mind with excuses. They fill it with something even harder to escape. Person 2, the energy drainer. Not every dangerous person in your life is loud. Some don't criticize you. They don't insult you. They don't betray you. They simply leave you emotionally exhausted every time you walk away from them. You know the feeling. You answer the phone with energy. You leave the conversation feeling heavier. Every discussion becomes another crisis, another complaint, another emergency, another problem that somehow always needs your attention. The energy drainer doesn't necessarily want to hurt you. Most of the time, they don't even realize what they're doing. They have simply built a life where chaos has become their normal state. Without noticing it, they invite everyone around them to live inside that same emotional storm. The Stoics understood something that modern psychology continues to confirm. Attention is one of your most valuable resources. Where your attention goes, your character follows. If your mind spends every day carrying someone else's emotional chaos, it has very little strength left to build discipline, pursue meaningful goals, or remain at peace. Marcus Aurelius protected his inner world with extraordinary care. As emperor, he faced constant conflict, political tension, and endless demands on his attention. Yet in Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself before the day even begins that he will meet difficult, selfish, and unreasonable people. He prepares his mind in advance because he refuses to allow other people's emotions to become his own. That lesson is just as relevant today. Some people constantly pull you into arguments that have nothing to do with you. They expect immediate replies, immediate solutions, immediate emotional involvement. Their urgency quietly becomes your urgency. Their anxiety slowly becomes your anxiety. After enough time, you stop living according to your own priorities. You begin living according to theirs. That is why protecting your peace is not selfish. It is discipline. There is a profound difference between showing compassion and carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. A Stoic man listens without absorbing. He cares without surrendering his peace. He helps when he truly can. But he refuses to make another person's emotional instability the foundation of his own life. Always remember this. Some people don't steal your time. They steal your attention. And once your attention no longer belongs to you, your future quietly stops belonging to you as well. There is, however, another type of person who appears supportive on the surface. In reality, they fear the very thing that could transform your life. Person 3, the comfortable friend. Some of the people who limit your growth don't look like enemies. In fact, they often look like your closest friends. They laugh with you. They support you. They've known you for years. They genuinely care about you. Until the day you begin to change. The moment you become more disciplined, something shifts. You wake up earlier. You start training. You become more selective with your time. You stop making excuses. Without realizing it, your growth becomes a mirror. It reminds them of the life they could be living, but have chosen not to. That reflection makes them uncomfortable. So they begin pulling you back toward the version of yourself they feel safe around. Not with anger, with jokes. You've changed. You take life too seriously. Come on, skip one workout. One night won't hurt. You're obsessed. Those words rarely sound destructive. That is exactly why they are so dangerous. The comfortable friend doesn't attack your ambition. He slowly normalizes mediocrity. He makes discipline feel extreme. He makes average feel reasonable. After hearing it often enough, you begin questioning habits that were making your life better. Marcus Aurelius understood that character is strengthened by those who challenge you to become wiser, calmer, and more disciplined. He never surrounded himself with people who encouraged comfort simply because it felt pleasant. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself that difficult people will always exist, but he never allows their standards to become his own. Pay attention to how people react when you improve your life. The right people may miss the old version of you, but they will respect the new one. The wrong people only support your growth as long as it doesn't expose their excuses. That is why real friendship is not measured by how long someone has known you. It is measured by who they encourage you to become. Ask yourself a difficult question. Who celebrates your discipline? And who quietly hopes you return to the person you used to be? Never forget this. Not everyone who supports your comfort supports your future. Sometimes the people holding you back are not trying to hurt you. They are simply trying to keep you where they feel comfortable. But there is another kind of influence that is even more dangerous. It doesn't ask you to stay the same. It makes you believe your value depends entirely on someone else's approval. Person 4, the approval dealer. Not every person controls you through criticism. Some control you through approval. At first it feels good. They praise you. They encourage you. They make you feel accepted. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin craving that feeling. You stop asking yourself whether your decisions are right. You start asking whether they will approve. That is the moment your freedom begins to disappear. The approval dealer rarely demands control directly. Instead, they reward behavior that serves their expectations. When you agree with them, they make you feel valued. When you choose your own path, their warmth suddenly disappears. Without noticing it, you begin adjusting your personality to avoid disappointing them. You speak differently. You think differently. You even dream differently. Not because your values have changed, because your need for acceptance has become stronger than your commitment to truth. Marcus Aurelius ruled over millions of people. Every day he received praise from some and criticism from others. Had he allowed public opinion to guide his decisions, he would have become a different man every single morning. Instead, he constantly reminded himself that character must never depend on applause. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he prepares himself to meet people who are arrogant, dishonest, and unreasonable. He never writes about convincing them to admire him. He writes about making sure they never influence the way he chooses to live. That is the Stoic difference. Most people spend their lives managing impressions. The Stoic spends his life managing his character. Modern life has made this trap even more dangerous. Every notification, every compliment, every like, every moment of recognition offers a small reward to your brain. There is nothing wrong with appreciation. The danger begins when appreciation becomes a necessity. because the man who cannot live without approval will eventually become whoever other people want him to be. He slowly stops making courageous decisions. He avoids difficult conversations. He hides his real opinions. He chooses comfort over honesty, not because he lacks principles, because he fears rejection more than he values integrity. The Stoics believed that peace begins the moment your self-respect becomes more important than your popularity. The strongest man in the room is not the one receiving the most admiration. It is the one who can walk away from admiration without losing himself. Remember this whenever you feel tempted to seek permission before following your convictions. The man who needs permission can never be truly free. And when you finally stop chasing approval, you discover one last person standing in your way. The most difficult person of all, the one you've been carrying your entire life. Person 5, the man you used to be. There is one person every man must eventually leave behind. He isn't standing in your workplace. He isn't sitting across the dinner table. He isn't waiting for your next mistake. He is the version of yourself you've carried for years. The man who keeps doubting himself. The man who waits for motivation before taking action. The man who postpones difficult decisions because tomorrow always feels safer than today. Most people spend their lives trying to escape difficult people. Very few realize they are still living under the influence of an older version of themselves. Every time you say, "This is just who I am," you give your past permission to decide your future. Marcus Aurelius understood that the greatest battle was never against other people. It was against the habits, fears, and desires living inside his own mind. That is why his journal was never written to criticize the world. It was written to correct himself. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he prepares his own character before he prepares for the people around him. He knows that if his mind remains disciplined, no difficult person can truly defeat him. Many men believe they need a new opportunity, a better job, more money, a different city, a different relationship. The Stoics would ask a different question. Would those things matter if you carried the same fearful mind into every new chapter of your life? The answer is uncomfortable. Your environment may change. Your circumstances may improve. But if the old version of you is still making your decisions, your future will eventually look exactly like your past. Real transformation begins the moment you stop introducing yourself through yesterday's identity. You are not the man who failed 5 years ago. You are not the man who lacked confidence. You are not the man who broke promises to himself. Unless you continue choosing to be him, every decision you make today is either feeding your old identity or building a new one. That is why the hardest goodbye is rarely directed toward another person. It is directed toward the version of yourself that has quietly held you back for years. Remember this: sometimes the hardest person to leave behind is the person you've been for years. The moment you let go of that old identity, something extraordinary happens. You no longer need to protect your excuses. You no longer need other people's approval. You no longer fear becoming someone different, because you finally understand that becoming different was the goal all along. Imagine standing at the entrance of your life. Behind you are years of conversations that slowly shaped the man you became. Some gave you courage, others gave you excuses. Some reminded you of your potential, others quietly convinced you to settle for less. Most people believe their future is built by the decisions they make. The Stoics believed something equally important. Your future is also built by the influences you choose to keep. Every person who has access to your mind leaves something behind. Sometimes they leave wisdom. Sometimes they leave doubt. Sometimes they leave discipline. Sometimes they leave fear. That is why protecting your character has never been about building walls around yourself. It has always been about choosing carefully who is allowed to shape your thinking. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than most people ever will. He ruled the most powerful empire on earth. He met ambitious men, jealous men, dishonest men, wise men, faithful friends, dangerous enemies. Yet he never believed that controlling other people was his greatest responsibility. His greatest responsibility was making sure none of them controlled him. That is why, in Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he prepares himself before the day begins. He reminds himself that he will meet difficult people, but he never asks how to change them. He asks how to remain true to his own character despite them. That single lesson has survived for nearly 2,000 years because human nature has never changed. There will always be people who blame the world instead of improving themselves. People who drain your attention, people who feel uncomfortable when you grow, people who make you dependent on their approval. And there will always be one old version of yourself quietly asking you to stay exactly where you are. The Stoic path is not about hating those people. It is not about proving them wrong. It is not about winning every argument or cutting everyone out of your life. It is about recognizing which influences bring out your highest character and which slowly pull you away from it. Sometimes protecting your peace means creating distance. Sometimes it means setting boundaries. Sometimes it simply means refusing to let another person's mindset become your own. Real wisdom is knowing the difference. One day, people will notice that you've changed. They'll say you've become quieter, more disciplined, more selective with your time, less available for unnecessary drama. They may think you've become distant. What they won't see are the invisible decisions that created that change. The conversations you chose not to continue, the negativity you refused to carry, the approval you stopped chasing, the excuses you no longer accepted, and the old version of yourself that you quietly left behind. Those were the moments that transformed your life, not because they made you harder, but because they made you stronger. Remember this whenever you wonder whether protecting your peace is worth the discomfort. The quality of your life will always reflect the quality of the influences you choose to keep close. Choose them wisely, because your character is too valuable to place in the hands of people who cannot see the man you are capable of becoming. If this lesson challenged the way you think, subscribe to the Discipline Code and join thousands of men who are building discipline, resilience, and lasting character through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. The people closest to your mind are shaping the man you will become tomorrow. Choose them with the same care you choose your principles.